The American Red Cross helps to prepare, respond, and also in the recovery phase when a national disaster hits, specifically the California wildfires. Today we're on the move with the disaster assessment team and what that means specifically for the residences who have been affected. Today we'll learn a little bit more about the process and also about the devastation that the California wildfires left behind.
Basically, a client like this would have contacted the Red Cross for assistance, and they needed to know the damage to their property. And so we come out, we get a call, and it tells us to go out to an address, and we come and look and assess what the damage is. So when we come up to a site like this, what you notice is, and especially in a site like this, is it represents a life. It represents a family's life. You can see the chairs were sitting on the front porch. You can see their cook stove where their kitchen would have been. You can see their heating stove. And you can just imagine a family living in this unit and what their life must have been like before this. You see their house plants sitting around that are burnt. You understand that there's people connected to this rubble. So as we go from property to property doing the damage assessment, one thing we've noticed is these pink ribbons with the black dots on them. Those are put there by local governmental agencies, police, whatever, that indicate that those residences have been checked for people that are in harm's way or need help. So they're saying this residence is okay, there's nobody here that's in danger, we've checked the property. We just came past a place where there were some that were hanging on a tree, indicating that they didn't want people to go down the road and that all the residents that were down that road were safe. This is at the head of somebody's driveway. Many times they're on the mailboxes, but it's a good sign because it indicates everybody was okay. So we have an application on our phone called RC Collect, and basically what we do is we electronically enter it. It is set up to take a geocode, and so it marks where the property is on a map. So actually the people back at headquarters can actually watch me when I drop a pin on the top of this house, so they know exactly what the address is, exactly where it's at. And then when the people that are giving financial assistance get a call from a client, they can pull up that record, know exactly what the address is, and know exactly what the damage state is, so they know what kind of assistance to provide. So sometimes locating the addresses can be a challenge. So you can see we would typically look at a mailbox to try to find it, but in this case, maybe we can see the outline enough that we can try to figure out what the number address is for the home. We are driving down the road and we will stop along the road in order to do the assessment. That's really handy if there's a property that's right beside the road. But many times we run into situations where there's a long driveway that goes up and maybe the property itself, the house, is not visible to us. And so in those cases, we would drive up the driveway to be able to see it. But if we get stopped by a no trespassing sign or a gate that's closed, we have to log it as being inaccessible. And if we do that, it just means we can't do the assessment right then. When the client calls in, they'll tell them it was inaccessible and we need permission to go on your property because we're not going to violate somebody's personal rights about their property. I had a resident last night that we couldn't find his property, and so I called him on the phone to try to get better instructions. And he was describing where he lived. And the mobile home where he lives, he's been there for a while, he's got this lot that he's on, but he said, there's also a trailer that sits behind me. And I said, okay, and he says, and my friend lives in that trailer. And he said, we had to move my friend out there because he's got such big health problems that he just physically needs somebody to check in on him from time to time. And so I just pulled his trailer up behind mine, and that's where we live. We had a field team that went out and they were having trouble locating an address, and so I was able to call the resident of that address to try to get more specific directions. And as she's telling me about where this is at, I'm drawing a map, just a hand-drawn map on my pad. And as she's describing it, she says, they'll know it when you get there. My daughter's pink bicycle is sitting in the front yard. And sure enough, when the crew arrived there, there's this pink bicycle with the tires melted off of it, and it was just kind of a touching moment.